Welcome to the Explainer. Today we are digging into the science of bread. Yep, but not just any bread. We're on a scientific quest to create the absolute perfect loaf. One that's not only good for you, but also tastes amazing and actually stays fresh. So let me just ask you this. What if the secret to better bread was hiding in coffee? Well, kinda. We're talking about an ingredient from coffee beans, but believe me, it's not what you're thinking. You're gonna want to see this. Okay, so first, we have to understand the core problem that bakers, and well, all of us, have been dealing with for ages. I call it the perfect loaf problem. You know this dilemma, right? It's the classic showdown in the bread aisle. In one corner, you've got whole wheat. It's the nutritional champion, loaded with fiber and all the good stuff. But let's be real. It can be kind of dense, a little heavy, and it seems to go bad if you just look at it wrong. And in the other corner, classic white bread. Oh, it's so light, fluffy, and delicious. But it's often a bit of a nutritional lightweight. It's always been a trade-off. So the quest is on for the holy grail of bread. A loaf that gives us all the health benefits of whole wheat, but with the amazing texture and staying power of white bread. And that's exactly what a 2024 study in the journal Foods decided to tackle. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. To solve this problem, the scientists didn't just add more yeast or try a new type of flour. Nope. They turned to a secret ingredient that is completely unexpected. Meet the star of our show, green coffee bean powder, or GCBp for short. Now, this is not your morning espresso. It's made from coffee beans that are raw. They haven't been roasted, and that's the key. Because they're unroasted, they are absolutely loaded with beneficial compounds, especially a really powerful antioxidant called chlorogenic acid. So, this is the big question, isn't it? What on earth happens when you take this antioxidant-packed powder and mix it into a regular whole wheat bread dough? I mean, will it make it fluffier? Will it help it stay fresh? And the most important question of all, how's it going to taste? And with that, it was time to find out. Think of this whole experiment as a super scientific version of a bake-off, where a bunch of different recipes are about to go head to head. So here's how they set it up. First, they made a totally normal whole wheat dough. That's our control group. Then they made 5 more batches. The only thing they changed was swapping out a small percentage of the flour for this green coffee bean powder. And to make it a fair fight, everything else, the mixing, the rising time, the baking temperature, was kept exactly the same for every single loaf. And here they are. Let's meet the contestants. We've got C0, our control, with 0 powder. It's going up against 5 challengers, C1 through C5, with the powder getting stronger each time, from a tiny 1% addition all the way up to 5%. Let the judging begin. All right, the loaves are baked, they're out of the oven, they're all cooled down. Now it's time for the real tests to see which one of these is truly the champion bread. First up, round 1, and this is a big one, literally. It's all about volume and texture. In other words, which loaf got the best rise? Which one is the fluffiest? And whoa, check this out. The results here are pretty fascinating. The clear winner for fluffiness was the loaf with just 1% of the powder. It was significantly bigger than the regular bread and even bigger than the one with 5% powder. It looks like that tiny little bit of GCBp was the perfect fuel to help the yeast do its job, making a lighter, airier loaf. Okay, on to round 2, the freshness test. Now we all know whole wheat bread is famous for spoiling fast. So could our secret ingredient possibly help with that? Let's see. And the answer is a huge yes. I mean, these results are nothing short of dramatic. After just 2 days, the regular control bread had already spoiled. But get this, every single one of the GCB loaves, from the 1% all the way to the 5%, was still perfectly fresh and safe to eat. Those antioxidant properties were clearly going to work. And if you want to put a number to it, it's even more shocking. The control bread's microbial count was over 241,000. For context, the acceptable limit is under 100,000. So it was more than double the limit. The GCBp loaves, not even close to that number. That is a massive win for shelf life. Okay, so we've got a bread that's fluffy and lasts a long time. But let's be honest, that's all useless if nobody actually wants to eat it. So for the final, and you could say most important round, it was time for the ultimate test, the human taste testers. So what did the people think? Well, look at this. The 1% loaf and the regular control loaf were basically tied for first place. People really liked them. But as you can see, the more powder they added, the less people liked it. That 5% loaf, yeah, it was the least favorite by a mile. It just goes to show you, there is definitely a sweet spot. So after all the tests, for fluffiness, for freshness, for flavor, one loaf clearly rose above the rest. It's time to crown our champion.
And the winner of the Great Bread Bake-Off is C1, the loaf with just 1% of green coffee bean powder. You gotta love a less is more result like this. It proves you don't need a lot of something to make a huge, huge difference.
So let's just recap the winning scorecard. C1 was the fluffiest loaf. It got top marks from the taste testers for how it looked and smelled. It had that incredible extended shelf life. It's packed with healthy antioxidants. And it got a fantastic overall score from the people eating it. It really is the best of all worlds. And hey, you don't just have to take my word for it. The researchers themselves summed it up perfectly. They said that a 1% concentration seems to be the optimal amount to improve the quality of whole wheat bread while keeping it tasting great. That is the scientific seal of approval right there. So a little bit of powder from an unroasted coffee bean completely solved a long-standing baking problem. It just makes you wonder, right? What other surprising natural ingredients are out there just waiting to be discovered to make the foods we already love even better? The future of food science is looking pretty delicious. Thanks for watching.